Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me here. Week 13, National Football League, aka Showdown Sunday, aka Line in the Sand Sunday. Dubbed this Showdown Sunday for a number of reasons. A, no more bye weeks. We're done with the bye weeks. They've come, they've gone. Every team in the National Football League, all 32, on display in Week 13 from here on out for the remainder of the season. B, I feel like every game in Week 13 has some kind of significance to it, other than a team just trying to get a victory. Whether it's one team trying to prove something to the other team, one team looking to prove something to the rest of the league, or one team just trying to prove something to themselves. This week in Week 13 pitted teams that I felt like were evenly matched and that had something to play for other than just trying to get a win. And in this particular game, this was huge. Probably one of the biggest games in terms of playoff seeding and playoff implications in week number 13. Arizona Cardinals at the Philadelphia Eagles. This was a huge matchup in the NFC. Eagles currently were in second place in their division, a half a game behind the Dallas Cowboys, who had already won on Thanksgiving. So a win against Arizona would put them back in a first place tie with the Dallas Cowboys. Again, Cowboys own the tiebreaker currently over the Eagles because of a win earlier in Philadelphia in the season. So if you're Philadelphia, you don't know if you're going to win that division or not. So you got to keep winning games and try to make sure you put yourself in a position that if you don't win the division, you can still get in via the wild card. And so you look at the Arizona Cardinals, they're tussling for that sixth and final wild card spot as well. And they're not out of it for that fifth one either. But like I said, I think the winner of that NFC South division is going to be your 2 seed behind Seattle, and the loser of that division is going to be your 5th seed in the NFC playoffs. So that would just leave one available playoff spot for a non-division winner. And Arizona isn't going to win the NFC West, and at 7-4, that's good enough to get into the postseason in the AFC. But in the NFC, with San Francisco at 8-4, if you're Arizona, you got to win to get to 8-4 to tie the San Francisco 49ers. So this is a huge game. And again, with the Eagles at 6-5 and the Cardinals at 7-4, you look at this matchup, these two teams could be tied at the end of the season at 10-6, staring each other in the face for that last final 6th seed in the NFC playoffs. And the winner of this game could essentially be the one that gets in because of a tiebreaker, because of a head-to-head win. So this is a huge game for both teams. I don't need to tell you why this is a Sunday showdown matchup in the National Football League. This is a showdown Sunday matchup because this game matters for the playoffs. End of discussion, period. So let's get to the breakdown. And I'll say this, and I'll probably harp on it a little bit later at the end of this breakdown, but this was the worst officiated game of the season by far. No discussion necessary. This game was horribly officiated. But let's get to the action. Don't want to take anything away from the Cardinals nor the Philadelphia Eagles in this game, but the officiating was horrendous. 7-4 Cardinals, and they're playing some really good football, winners of 4 straight, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, winners of 3 straight, and really playing some good football. Nicholas Foles, as we all know, coming into this game, 17 touchdowns or 16 touchdowns, one or the other, no interceptions, closing in on Peyton Manning's 20 touchdown, no interception start to a season. So most touchdown passes without an interception to start a season. Nicholas Foles closing in on that mark. Carson Palmer stripped of the football on the first third down of the game. And I thought, again, the officiating was bad from the start, and it was bad from start to finish. It was not like they just had a tough quarter or they made 1 or 2 judgment calls that went the other way and that I didn't agree with. This was bad officiating from start to finish in this football game. And it started right here on his first possession for the Cardinals. Third down, Carson Palmer is stripped of the football. However, this play should have never taken place because it was a delay of the game. And so this should have been a 5-yard penalty, back the Cardinals up. They were already in 3rd and long. They probably would have just simply went with a draw handoff or a screen or something to that effect. They would have punted the football if they didn't pick up the first down, And this touchdown early in the game might not happen, but again, officials, and this was a blatant delay of game. Not just one of those ones where, oh, okay, they just got it off before the 0-0 hit or it just missed it and you can let it go. This was 0 for at least a second. And they missed this call. Ends up being a forced fumble on the play by Trent Cole, scooped up by the Eagles. And Nicholas Foles finds Zach Ertz 4 plays later for a 6-yard touchdown. Philadelphia on top 7-0. And Nicholas Foles picking up right where he left off last week. Another touchdown pass. The guy's hot, and I keep wanting to not give him all of the credit that he probably deserves for this hot start. But after watching this game against against Arizona, I think I have to give him credit where credit is due. This was a good defense. You know, all the cupcake defenses he had faced during this stretch up until this point, I wasn't really willing to concede that he was playing exceptional football yet. Look, you still got to go out and perform, even if the defense you're playing against is bad. But this was a good defense. I expected him to be tested here. And look, he was tested because there were some times where I thought the Cardinals should have came down with some picks. He was living dangerous in this football game. A couple of times, Cardinal defenders had their hands on the football and did not come down with it. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's 7-0. Eagles on top after the turnover, and they turn that turnover into points. That's what good teams do. You force a turnover, you take that turnover, you turn it into touchdowns. And that's what the Eagles have done. They're up 7-0. After a nice start to the drive and a personal foul penalty, Palmer throws a pick to Nate Allen, who has a 47-yard return on the play. And we saw the good Carson over the last 2 weeks. No interceptions in the last 2 wins for this Arizona Cardinals football team. None against Jacksonville on the road 2 weeks ago. None against Indy at home last week. But we knew that wasn't going to last but for so long. That ended in this game. However, this was a bad pick. This was a bad pick because Michael Floyd was wide open. Okay? Double coverage. He beats the safety. He's already got 2 steps on the cornerback. And Carson Palmer just simply does not get enough on his football. And not only is this a big play because it's a turnover, but it flips the field position because he gets a 47-yard return. But this return should never have happened. You know why? Michael Floyd gets his hand on the helmet of Nate Allen as he picks it off. He falls to the ground, then gets up and runs for 47 yards. And the officials, even after it's looked at, because all turnovers are reviewed, they still don't overturn that and bring him back to the down by contact spot, which would have been about the 3 or 4, maybe the 5-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. They would have been at their own 5. So essentially, this would have been like a punt. Even though you didn't need to punt here, it would have at least served as an opportunity for your defense to come on the field. Eagles back against the wall. Maybe you force a turnover. Maybe they're conservative. You force them to punt. You get great field position, get the football back. But instead, he's able to run it back out to midfield, and the officials missed the call. And so the officiating was bad, like I said, from the start in this game, and it went all the way through to the completion of this game. But bad throw by Palmer. First of all, forget about the officiating, forget about the down by contact. This was a bad throw. A great decision because Floyd was open. Bad throw by Palmer. He needed to get this out in front of him. He walks in the end zone with a touchdown. He had gotten behind the secondary, behind the corner, behind the safety, and Palmer underthrew him severely, and it was picked off by the safety, Nate Allen. So still 7-0 Eagles at this point. We go later on in the first half. L.A.B. And look, Larry has some huge games. Larry Fitzgerald has some huge games against the Philadelphia Eagles. I was looking for one of those in this game. It really didn't happen, but he did have some huge moments in this game. Here's one of them. L.A.B. on 3rd and 20 shuns contact. 2 Eagle defenders converge on him, hit him at the same time. And he didn't look it, but Larry Fitzgerald is one of the strongest receivers in this league. He bounced right off of that contact. I mean, he shuns that contact, bounces off of it like a pinball. I mean, he ricochets right off that contact, regains his balance, walks into the end zone for a 43-yard touchdown score. It's 7-all in this game. And I feel like the Cardinals, even though the officiating hasn't been on their side, and they got off to a slow start with the turnovers, the pick, and the fumble. They've weathered the storm. It's 7-all. They're right here in this game. They've got a legitimate shot at really winning this football game. Eagles respond to the Cards' touchdown with a field goal. A nifty one-hand grab by Riley Cooper really helped them get down the field into field goal range. It's 10-7. Eagles back on top. After a 4th-and-2 conversion and a pass interference in the end zone, Brent Selleck catches a 1-yard touchdown toss from Nicholas Foles. It's 17-7. So Arizona almost on the cusp of a stop. 4th-and-2, allow the Eagles to convert, and then give up a pass interference in the end zone to extend the drive, give the Eagles an opportunity to score a 1-yard touchdown to Brent Selleck. Foles with another touchdown pass. If I'm not mistaken, that's his 18th of the season with no interception. So this guy is red hot. It's now 17-7. If you're the Arizona Cardinals, you're in that danger zone. You shouldn't be alone. You need to get a score to kind of reel this Eagles team in before they get too far away from you. On the road, you don't want to fall behind by too much, especially to a team that's on a 3-game winning streak, playing with a lot of confidence, and we know they can score points as they're one of the highest scoring points teams in the league. So if you're the Cardinals, time to reel these guys in. Hey, throw it out there, reel these guys in before it's too late. This thing could get out of control if you don't answer the bell as the Eagles are up by 10 in this football game. Masterful opening possession by Philly. Foles finds Zach Ertz for his 2nd touchdown grab of the game. 3rd TD pass for Foles. It's 24-7. So now, at this point, I feel like, oh, man, it's just not the Arizona Cardinals' day. The officiating isn't the best. This Arizona Cardinals team turning the football over a couple of times in that first half. Now, Nicholas Foles and his Eagles offense really starting to rev it up. He's hot, and that's when I said, man, he's good. You know, you can carve up the Raiders, you can carve up the Redskins and the Giants, but this is the Cardinals defense, and this is a really good. A lot of people don't know how good the Arizona Cardinals defense is. They're under the radar. They're out there in the desert, so it's easy to forget about, you know, what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. But this is a good defense here, and Perry Fuel has these guys playing some exceptional football. And so, did I say Perry Fuel? This isn't the Giants defense. Forget the defensive coordinator, but he came from Philadelphia with the Eagles, and he's got them playing some really good football. And so I think that I was a little disappointed when it was 24-7 because Carson Palmer kind of reverted back to the Carson that was turning the football over. Again, the officiating hasn't been the best, but I'm not going to blame this on the officials. You go out, make some plays. They didn't get a lot of pressure on Nicholas Foles like I thought they were going to in this game. They sacked him a couple of times, but I thought they were really going to put some intense pressure on him. I thought they were going to. They had opportunities. Nicholas Foles gave them opportunities to pick some passes off, and they just didn't. I mean, a couple of times Eagle receivers played defender and knocked the ball away, but some of these picks should have been had. A couple of them. Kason had one on a play. He falls down, ball comes out. I mean, Pat P has one in the end zone. He lets Deshaun Jackson swat it out of his hands. I mean, you had opportunities to make plays, and you just didn't make plays. And so it's a little frustrating. 24-7, and I had confidence. And I picked the Arizona Cardinals to win this game, so I thought they were going to take care of business. But Nicholas Foles has revved it up. I thought they were going to really pose more of a threat to him. He's got 3 touchdowns, no interceptions to this point. They're up 24-7. Looks like they're going to cruise to another victory. However, the Arizona Cardinals say, hey, we're not on a 4-game winning streak for no reason. We're not going down that quietly. Here we come. Cards get a much-needed touchdown as Palmer finds Michael Floyd for a 23-yard touchdown. It's 24-14, capping an 80-yard, 10-play drive. Much-needed, huge drive by Arizona. Again, still down by 10, but they were in that danger zone. They were in danger of being blown out of this game. That touchdown kind of calms things down. And we know that this Philadelphia Eagles team has problems scoring in the second half. Ever since that Raiders game, in the second half of football games, they haven't scored a lot of points. They score a lot of points and jump out to leads in the first half and then cling on and hang on for dear life in the second half. So if you're Arizona, you feel like, hey, this defense will start to tighten up and we'll start to make some adjustments. And they won't keep scoring points the way they are. And if our offense can stop turning it over and we can start getting some momentum and some flow and rhythm going offensively, Maybe our defense can generate a turnover or two and get us back in this game. Maybe the special teams will make a play. Maybe something will happen. Maybe the ball will bounce our way and we can steal a victory. So it's a 10-point deficit now at 24-14. As the Cards are driving, Palmer is picked off again. This time by Kerry Williams. This was bad ball placement here. This was another good decision, but bad ball placement. Again, another open receiver, yet bad ball placement. Roberts was open on this play. He was open, and again, if Carson Palmer hits him in stride, this is a big play waiting to happen. Instead, it's bad ball placement. Kerry Williams is able to get back into the play, and your end result is a pick. And again, Palmer just was off with his ball placement in this game. And he allowed Kerry Williams to reestablish himself in this play when he was beaten on this play. And so the Eagles get the football back, but the defense stiffened. Okay? This defense stiffened up, and the Cards are climbing back into this game as Jim Dre catches a 2-yard touchdown pass from Carson Palmer. Michael Floyd was huge on the drive with several catches for big yards, leading to that 2-yard touchdown from Palmer to Dre. It's 24-21 now. Eagles are clinging to that 3-point lead, and the Cards, 14 unanswered points after being down 24-7 in this game. They're right back in the thick of things at 24-21, and there's plenty of time in this game for the Eagles to blow this lead. So if you're the Cardinals, you got a shot. Now you got to go out and you got to get a couple of stops, and they were able to do that. Here's one of them, and here's the officiating rearing its ugly head again. Eagles are reeling at this point, and they're not sustaining offense. They're starting to get pressure on Nicholas Foles. He's starting to make some bad. He made a couple of questionable decisions with the football. Again, when you apply pressure to quarterbacks that aren't used to pressure being applied to them, you start to see their true colors. And Nicholas Foles started doing some erratic things. He started doing some erratic things and some erratic stuff with the football when pressure was being applied to him in this game. And I think Todd Bowles, and that's the coordinator's name that I was looking for earlier, Todd Bowles really started to dial up some pressure, and Foles started to crumble under that pressure, and your end result was a Patrick Peterson. Right after that Jim Dre touchdown, Eagles come out on the field, Cardinals have momentum, the defense is getting after him, and they get to him, and he tosses the football up for grabs. It's picked off by Pat P and returned into Eagles territory. 1st and 10 from about the Eagles' 30-yard line or so. I mean, the Cardinals are in business. They're already in field goal range. They're already in Jay Feely field goal range. So the question now is, can they get a touchdown and take the lead? Officials say, stop, hold on, wait a second. Holding, number 20, offense. And they show the replay, and it's a phantom call. I mean, I've seen guys flagged for much more than that. I mean, the call was so egregious, okay, that I was beside myself. Like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? And there were several times in this game where Michael Floyd was assaulted. And again, in 27 states, the Eagle defender that assaulted him on those plays, and no flag was thrown, by the way, would have been arrested and brought up on charges, felony charges at that. So to see this holding call when Michael Floyd had been being wrestled essentially all game long, come on, you got to be better than that. And so they get the football back to the Eagles. They pick up a couple of first downs, and they get down into the red zone, do the Eagles. And they got a shot. I mean, the Cardinals get the football back, and they do nothing with it. But they got some timeouts. They got the 2-minute warning. They got a chance to get the football back one more time. So the Eagles have the football, and they're in Cardinals territory. They got a shot to put this game away if they can pick up one more first down. But they can't. 3rd down, Foles rolls out into the flats on a bootleg. There's nobody open. Throws it away. They got to kick a field goal. You do your math, a field goal only makes it a 6-point lead. Cardinals can still win this game with a touchdown. However, the officials see fit to call Matt Shaughnessy, and I thought Matt Shaughnessy played a fabulous game in this one. I thought he was magnificent in this game. And keep in mind, he's making the move over from defensive end. I mean, he's a natural defensive end, hand in the ground type of guy. And they got him in free agency from the Raiders, and he's really making that move over to linebacker seamlessly. I was impressed with him in this game. A couple of times he was out in coverage on Shady McCoy and actually ran him out of bounds. So Shaughnessy had a really good game. And they run the bootleg. The tight end is trying to block and then release. Shaughnessy grabs him and redirects him and then goes after Foles. And I just thought it was a horrendous call. Once a quarterback comes out of the pocket, you can hold and you can redirect the receiver as long as he's not 5 yards down the field. And again, he was at the line of scrimmage trying to block Matt Shaughnessy and then release. And Shaughnessy saw what he was trying to do, held on to him for a little bit, and then discarded him. Bad call. Terrible call. You don't make that call in the latter stages of a game like that. Again, I hate to see officials decide the outcome of the game. Please let the players on the field decide the outcome of the game. I didn't think the officials in this game did that. I thought they had too much to do with the outcome of this game as the Eagles, after that first down, no more timeouts for the Cardinals, and they can just take knees, win the football game. That first down should never have happened. It should have been 4th down, field goal attempt. Cardinals getting the football back with about a minute and 20 seconds left, no timeouts, and a chance to win down 6. Instead, first down, Eagles can take some knees, game's over. Cardinals lose 24-21. Eagles get a much-needed victory, a huge win against. And look, I don't want to take anything away from Philadelphia. They played well enough to win this game. I just thought the officiating had too much to do with the outcome of this game. And that's unfortunate, especially when this is a game with huge playoff implications. You don't want to see the officials decide the outcome of the game, but I thought they had too much to do with this game being in the balance. They just had too much to do with that Patrick Peterson interception and that phantom holding call that negates it. With this holding on Matt Shaughnessy that easily should have been picked up, that should have never been thrown, that stops the Cardinals from getting one last shot at winning this football game. There were too many calls. The missed delay of game that led to a touchdown for the Eagles, the first points of this game. Nate Allen picking off a pass, being hit in the head, and them not calling him down at that spot. You don't know what could happen if the Eagles have the ball at their own 5-yard line. A safety could occur. Anything. A pick, ball tipped into the air, picked off, touchdown. You don't know what could occur down there. And so the officiating was porous in this game. And that's putting it very gently. The officiating was the worst of the season in this game. And I feel like the Arizona Cardinals were robbed in this game. Again, Eagles played well enough to win. Don't want to take anything away from the Philadelphia Eagles. Cardinals had their opportunities. They blew them. But again, I just feel like in this game, the Philadelphia Eagles really got away with a couple of calls. And I thought that the officiating in this game was as bad as you could. And I feel bad for the Cardinals because, again, they're not going to win their division. At least the Philadelphia Eagles have a legitimate shot at winning their division. And so it's fine if they were to lose this game. I mean, again, Cowboys already ahead of them. They don't want to lose any games, but they got a legitimate shot at winning their division. This Cardinals team, their only way in is through the wild card. And so when you rob them of victories like this and they can't keep pace with a team like the 49ers, a team like the Carolina Panthers, when they can't keep pace with those teams because you take a game from them, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. And again, I don't want to take anything away from the Eagles because I thought they played a fabulous first half and even played well up into the third quarter. But again, they did not do enough in that second half to hold on to this game. And I thought that the Cardinals were robbed. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
This segment of the Sports Fix is presented by Comcast Business. Attention business owners. Business of fast business with Comcast Business Ethernet Fiber, Internet, Voice, and TV. provides advanced
Had a little bit of technical difficulty there. Sorry. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's frustrating. You really don't like to see things like that happen. But I tip my cap to the Eagles. I mean, they scored 24 points on a really good defense. And they really took it to the Cardinals early on in this game, built up a lead that was able to sustain that run at the end by the Cardinals. And they get it done. Nicholas Foles doesn't have an interception to his name yet, even though I think he was really given a gift there because I think Patrick Peterson had a pick on him and it should have stood. But Eagles get it done. I mean, they go to 7-5, drop the Cardinals down at 7-5, and this is a huge game because, again, if these two teams end up tied, and let's just say the 49ers struggle down the stretch, and they end up, 10-6. So do the Eagles, so do the Cardinals. And the Eagles get in by virtue of tiebreakers. That's a tough pill to swallow. It really is, but it is what it is. Again, there's really not much you can do about it. Eagles get the win, 24-21. They go to 7-5. They get back to first place in the NFC East, tied atop that division with the Cowboys. Cowboys, again, own the tiebreaker because of a win earlier in the season in Philly. So these two teams will meet, Arizona and Dallas, in the regular season finale. So if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, got to keep winning football games. Put yourself in a position to make that last game of the season matter. Make that count for something. If you're the Cardinals, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get back on track. You cannot lament over this loss. Sure, the officials had way too much to do with this loss, but again, you can't lament over that. You can't cry over spilled milk. You're 7-5. You're still right in the thick of things in this NFC wild card race. You got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get back out there, and get back to your winning ways because a 2-game slide at this juncture of the season could be deadly and detrimental to your playoff hopes. So you got to go and get a win in week number 14. So tough loss on the road in a game that you could have easily have stolen, but you made too many mistakes. Palmer turned it over 3 times, 2 interceptions, another fumble. Can't happen on the road. You can't self-destruct and beat yourself if you want to win games on the road in this league, especially against quality opponents like this Philadelphia Eagles team. You made too many mistakes. They capitalized off your mistakes. You lose this football game 24-21. That's going to do it for this installment of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about that technical difficulty a little bit earlier. I don't know what happened. I can't even really explain it. Much like the officiating in this game, really can't explain it. But I've got more games to break down in week number 13. Showdown Sunday in the National Football League. Come back, join me as I continue to break down week number 13 in the National Football League.